Okay, let's get started. Welcome to Sharsheret's Shalom Shabbat Hanukkah Edition program. My name is Melissa Rosen, and I want to thank you for being with us today. We are always grateful for an opportunity to reconnect and to recenter, and I think many of us have found this is especially true around the holidays. So today isn't only an appreciation of Shabbat, but a celebration of Hanukkah, which began yesterday evening. But of course, before we get started and get moving on our wonderful program, we have just a few housekeeping details. I want to begin by thanking our sponsors for today's program, Daiichi Sankyo and GSK. And of course, as always, this program is being recorded, but no faces or names will be on the recording other than those of the presenters. If you wish to turn your video off now for privacy, that's fine. You can have the option to do that at the bottom left of your screen. You can also choose to rename yourself if you prefer to remain anonymous. You can do that by clicking the three dots on the top of the right of your photo square. Okay. Let's talk for a second a little bit about an opportunity today to illuminate the darkness. As I've mentioned on previous Shalom Shabbat programs, there is always some level of stress, anxiety, of chaos in life, right? We have work, we have family. Certainly current events are weighing heavily upon us. And of course, for those of us who have faced cancer and are dealing with survivorship, or who are currently facing cancer, there is even more chaos. Physical, emotional, even spiritual anxiety. And we all need a break. We need a chance to see beyond that stress, to illuminate the good in the world, even when it feels hidden. It is absolutely necessary for our health and for our happiness. Of course, the miracle of Hanukkah is that just a little pure oil found in the temple after its destruction lasted for far longer than it should have, allowing the light of the menorah to burn for 8 days and leaving the Maccabees time to source additional oil. And today, we proudly light an increasing number of candles each night of the holiday. Many place their menorahs on a windowsill to share that light in a dark time. Quite literally, as it gets dark so early, but also figuratively, to combat the dark times we are living through, both personally, perhaps through the challenges of cancer, and absolutely communally as well. I shared earlier that some of my colleagues will be with us today to share some very special insights. And first up is my colleague, Erin Weinreich. Erin is one of our support program coordinators at Sharsheret, and she has some inspiring thoughts about the impact of candlelight.
Hey everybody, good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are, and happy Hanukkah. So I wanted to share an idea that I heard that I think is a really beautiful and appropriate for today's Shalom Shabbat. So we know on the first day of creation, that God created light. And from this, we see the importance, the significance, and the uniqueness of that light, whether it's from our Shabbat candles or the light of the menorah, which we just started lighting last night. The first sense that comes to mind when thinking about light is sight, right? We see the flame and its ability to illuminate a dark space. A well-known saying from a great sage goes, "A little bit of light can illuminate a lot of darkness." And they say that a person's soul is compared to a flame. And so deep down, each and every one of us, we have a soul, and we have that ability to illuminate any darkness around us. This is an opportunity to remember that we all have our own internal flame, that lighting Shabbat or candles or the Hanukkah candles may look different for each of us and definitely mean something different to us. But the concept of a little bit of light can illuminate a lot of darkness can be taken so far and feels so true, especially when going through a dark time like a cancer diagnosis. You may not feel like you have a lot of light to give or a lot of light in your life at this moment, and that's totally valid and okay. But finding that one small drop can make a difference, a huge difference, and can help push through a hard day or a challenging treatment or through this holiday season that may feel different than usual. So how do you feel that small flame inside of you, how do you feel it? Is it through an act of kindness, or is it by doing an activity that has the ability to relax you or make you smile, or is it something entirely different?
Erin, I love how you framed this. Let's all take a moment to share in the chat box how we kindle our internal flames. It could be anything that works for you, but don't hit send quite yet. I'm going to give you a second to type it in, and then I'll do a countdown. And when I say send, we'll all hit enter, and we'll see a strong cascade of ideas that can inspire us all. Okay. Okay, so we're going to 3, 2, 1, send. I love this. I love this. Giving love to others, reciting Psalms, Tehillim, baking challah, absolutely. Connecting with friends. Somebody said poetry, which that resonates with me. Rest is so important. Hanukkah presents to family. Okay, amazing. And feel free to keep sharing more things as the program goes on. I'm going to share my screen again for a second because I want to share some lyrics with you. There we go. I want to share some lyrics with you. We have a very, although my screen just went blank. There we go. We have a very special guest today. Cantor Lizzie Weiss serves as the senior cantor at Temple Emmanuel of Beverly Hills. Cantor Weiss is known for her powerful voice and welcoming presence, and I can attest to that. She values creating accessible and uplifting musical experiences for people of all ages, and strives to bring contemporary pieces along with nostalgic melodies to her congregants and memories. She developed her Jewish identity with her experiences in Jewish living at Temple Emmanuel of Beverly Hills, Camp Swig Newman, and all under the wing of her uncle Rabbi Kenneth Weiss of blessed memory, and her brother, Rabbi Scott Hausman Weiss. She is proud to serve as a ACC, American Conference of Cantors Cantor, along with her triplet sister, Cantor Sarah Haas. Cantor Weiss is most interested in developing the identities of young artists in LA as she helps connect Judaism to one's inherent talents. She is proud to have created and fostered the Soul Singers and the Junior Cantors and the intergenerational choir of Temple Emmanuel. After graduating from the University of California, Irvine, with a degree in theater, Cantor Weiss moved to New York and was cast in the Broadway national tour of Disney's High School Musical. After a few years on the road, she landed back in LA and entered cantorial school at the Academy of Jewish Religion. Cantor Weiss received her cantorial ordination in May of 2015. She is the fourth full-time and first female cantor in the 80-year history of Temple Emmanuel. When not on the bima, she can be found singing in Jewish and secular concerts alike all over the country. She proudly serves on the board of American Conference of Cantors, directs the adult and children's choirs, and helps lead synagogue programming. She also conducts the San Fernando Valley chapter of Hazimir, the Jewish teen choir. Lizzie will start with a Hanukkah song about driving out the darkness, but I'll let her explain more.
Shabbat Shalom and Hag Sameach, everyone. I do not conduct Hazamir. I'm not sure where that came from, but I'm very, Hazamir is an amazing group of teens that sing around the country. But we'll have to see if I sent that by mistake. You know, the intros done by everybody here have already been so gorgeous. I don't think that this song really needs much introduction. You know, as we're in Hanukkah and the darkest time of year and we're trying to bring light, I am going to put the translation of the Hebrew words. I just put it in your chat for you. We've come to banish the darkness with fire and the light in our hands. Each person is a little light, but all together we are the constant light. Leave darkness, get away blackness, be overpowered by the light. I can't help but think about that, you know, quote of the only way to get rid of darkness is by bringing light. And I know that even amongst larger, you know, world tragedies that are happening right now, each one of us and each one of you today who are on here are suffering and are just trying to bring some light in your life. This song, Banu Choshech, is, you know, most often if you look it up, you can see little kids, Banu Choshech legaresh, like it's like almost like a folk, like very uppity, and there's a lot of songs like that, like Avadim Hayinu. We all grow up learning these songs, and then you find out what they mean, and they're very serious. But I, you know, have a lot of theories about how these songs, you know, might have started more seriously and then they move up tempo and kids start to sing them and they almost become like a mantra. So the two songs that I decided to bring today, Banu Choshech and another a Yotzer Or song, I think that with both of them, we're going to start slowly. You know, I always say mute yourself and sing along with me. And we'll do it like a chant. We'll do it at 1 or 2 times and then keep picking up the pace. And I hope that with the up-tempo pace, it becomes more of a confidence builder, you know, telling yourself that, you know, that as you see through the night is cold and dark in our soul, there lies a spark. Each of us is a small light, and reminding ourselves that we're each a light, no matter what we're going through right now. Banu Choshech legaresh, beyadenu or vaish, kol echad hu or katan, vechulanu or etan, surah choshech, surah choshech al shechor, surah bipnei haor, surah choshech al shechor, surah bipnei haor. So try that with me. Banu Choshech legaresh, just that. Banu Choshech legaresh, one more time. Banu Choshech legaresh, beyadenu or vaish, beyadenu or vaish. From the beginning. Banu Choshech legaresh, beyadenu or vaish. Next part. Kol echad hu or katan, kol echad hu or katan, vekulanu or etan. Let's go from that third line. Kol echad hu or katan, vekulanu or etan. Then it changes up a little bit here. Surah Choshech halashor. Try that. Surah Choshech halashor. Surah bipnei haor. Surah Choshech halashor. Surah bipnei haor. Let's do it a couple more times. Banu Choshech legaresh, beyadenu or vaish, kol echad hu or katan, vekulanu or etan, surah Choshech halashor, surah mipnei haor, surah Choshech halashor, Surah Mipnei Haor. In the English now. Through the night is cold and dark. In our soul there lies a spark. Each of us is one small light. All together we shine bright. To a mitzvah light your spark. Let your glow shine through the dark. Do a mitzvah light your spark. Let your soul shine through the dark. Manu choshech legaresh, beyadeinu or vaish, kol echad hu or katan, bekulanu or etan, surah choshech al ashkar, tugra mipnei haor. Surah choshech al ashkar, surah mipnei haor. We're time really thinking about Banu choshech legarish, beyadeinu or vaish. Kol echad hu or katan, ve'kulanu or eitan. Surah choshech al ashkar, surah mipnei haor. Surah choshech al ashkar, surah mipnei haor.
Thank you so much. I just love that song, and it's so very appropriate for today. Okay, let us continue because we still have a little bit more to do, and I want to make sure we have time for all of it. So the impact of light in our lives is strong on so many levels. Here to share some additional insights and a bit of activity is my colleague, Rachel Teicher, Sharsharet's Support Program Manager.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to quickly do a little apology blanket in case I cough loudly at you. It's doing my best, getting over one of those fun winter colds. So I wanted to share some insight, continue on the theme of light, right? And how light can really be thought of in a very concrete fashion, right? The appearance of it allows us to see what is around us, right? And then often when a light is on and we can literally see what's around us, it helps us to feel what's around us. Because when you can see, you put, your other senses together and things kind of come together in this interesting way. So it can feel amazing to connect, let's say, a smell that you're smelling from somewhere, and then you see what is it that you are smelling, right? Maybe it's latkes frying, or a donut, or something delicious that we like to eat on Hanukkah, or any of the nice foods we eat on Shabbat. Or maybe it's putting a voice that you're hearing, right? You hear someone talking or a beautiful song or something, and then you can look and physically see and make that connection to what's happening around you. So it can be a beautiful experience. And I think based on everything we've learned today, we can all recognize that, right? And see that and understand the beauty of light. But I also want to take a minute, like we always do during some point during our Shalom Shabbat programs, to reflect on something that might be difficult, right? And recognize sometimes that there are intense realities that we also might be feeling or thinking, whether, it's today during this entire holiday season where there's lots of celebration around us. I want you guys to remember this is a safe space where you are very understood. So my point in saying that is often, while light is something we think about as a positive thing, and we're constantly seeing it and being told to be positive and have light around you, light can also have the capability to literally shed light on what's happening around us that doesn't feel so good, or shine a light on and point things out that are hard or sad or extra difficult for us. Having extra light around us may actually highlight some of the darkness that's currently in any of our lives, right? So whether that be current events or any normal life stress, or of course, going through a cancer diagnosis, can be really hard. It can feel really frustrating. It might be upsetting to be reminded that your light is not shining in the way that you had hoped this year. And that's okay. And I just want to recognize that while we want to create positivity, we also want you to realize, right, that it's okay to be feeling that way. And probably many or most of us are in one way or another. And that's really, really, really okay. So I want to try something with you guys for a minute. And if you're comfortable doing so, what I'd love for you to do is just kind of close your eyes and take a moment to feel darkness, to see darkness, right? When you close your eyes, that's all there is, pure darkness. We often do this and we naturally start thinking about our lives, difficult times, even small things like, oh, I can't forget this appointment I have, or I'm dreading my grocery shopping tomorrow, right? And just anything like that. It's almost this sense of like your brain immediately goes to that place. And sometimes it's simply just to shut the light out. And maybe that means giving yourself just a moment's rest from the hustle and bustle that's around you, from the craziness of life, for the good and for the bad. Either way, I want you to close your eyes and just breathe and sit with that for a moment. Just sit with the darkness and take a deep breath in and just recognize that that's what you're seeing, darkness. I'm going to do it with you. And now I want you to open your eyes. Just open your eyes and go, oh, bam, whoa, there's light, right? There's just this sudden light within a split second. There's no in between. You open your eyes and light is just there. You have to forget now. You're forced, for even if it's a millisecond, to forget whatever it was you were just thinking about, whatever was just on your mind, because bam, all of a sudden there was just light in front of you and you immediately change your course of thought. And I think that this is something that's so easy and beautiful to do that we usually don't take the time to do, right? It's just recognize our power to have light and dark within ourselves. And sometimes we do need to just take that moment to close our eyes, think what we have to think, and give ourselves that minute to just open our eyes and go, bam, our light is back. Here's my opportunity to get back on track and keep going forward. So feel free to take that exercise with you and do it at any time, whether it's the holiday season or beyond.
Wow, that's amazing. And you can easily take that with you everywhere. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, we are going to welcome Cantor Weiss back to the screen, which means I'm going to be sharing my screen so you can see some lyrics. And we're moving to the next slide. There we go. And Cantor, we're back to you.
Thank you, everyone. I'm very inspired by that teaching. That my brother, who's a spiritual coach, often teaches this concept that people walk around the world with their hands around their eyes and complain that they can't see anything, and all they have to do is lift their hand up and start to look. So this concept of light and darkness just pierces everything we do. I would say that this Yotzer Or by the wonderful Alana Arian is sort of a modern day, but continual Banu Choshech. It is, based on our Yotzer Or prayer, which we say every morning. Every night we say Mariv Aravim, which recognizes how the night becomes day, and in this case, how the day becomes night. And what I always just continue to focus on is the concept that we are always continuing God's creation. God's creation's in our soul. It's in every breath that we breathe. And I know, especially for people here, that we can't take our breath. We can't take the ability to breathe in and breathe out for granted. Just the recognition that we breathe in cold air and breathe out warm air, and just that is creation in itself. And so this is just another very simple melody that I more wanted to bring to you as something that you could use also as a mantra in the future daily, you know, when you say this Yotzer or prayer. So it starts out with this one part, and then it just really repeats, and it goes into Yotzer Or. So it goes like this. Light and darkness, each and every one. Light and darkness, each and every one. That's half the song. So just take in that breath and try that with me. Light and darkness, each and every one. Light and darkness, each and every one. One more time. Light and darkness, each and every one. And darkness, each and every one. Now our creation prayer goes like this. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzer or u'borei choshen oseh shalom u'borei et hakol. Blessed is Adonai, who created darkness and light, who creates peace and provides light for all. Baruch, here let's go light and darkness again. Light and darkness, each and every one. Light and darkness, each and every one. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Yotzer or u'borei choshen oseh shalom u'borei et hakol. Now, if you are so brave, those two parts go together. Light and darkness, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. So you could try whichever part. I'll do light and darkness. Light and darkness, each and every one. Light and darkness, each and every one. One more time, because I know we're running out of time. Light and darkness, each and every one. Light and darkness, each and every one. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach.
Thank you so much. That was so inspiring, and honestly, the perfect follow-up to what Rachel said. So thank you for that. As we conclude, I want to take a second to remind you of something we shared at last year's program. Hanukkah candles come in a box of 44. If we light every night, that is how many flames we ignite. 44 opportunities to remind ourselves of the spots of life in our lives. 44 opportunities to banish the darkness. I think that's so meaningful. I also want to remind you that Sharsheret is here for you. Our social workers are available to answer your questions, provide support, connect you to resources, and you can reach our social workers through the email address in the chat box, clinicalstaff@sharsheret.org. There's also a link to a very brief evaluation survey in the box right now. If you click on that, it'll take you 2 minutes to do, and we would be very grateful. Want to wish you a Shabbat filled with light and with comfort, and a Hanukkah filled with joy. Thank you so much for joining us here today. Shabbat Shalom and happy Hanukkah.